Hello and welcome to my desk. My name is Lena and this is a part 2 of me trying to finally end up with some sort of a self-portrait. I'm working on a work sketch here. Here I'm checking out the skin tones. They're so different than my real skin look. I mean, the photo made me look much paler than I am in real life. So now I'm making a decision, should I stay true to the photo or to the real life? Because I'm working with this palette from Jane Davenport that are, yeah, I have to say, it reminds me so much of what is it called? You know, paint that you use for makeup, face paint. So I could actually have swatched directly on my hand, and I think that I wouldn't pick up any sort of nasty pollution or something. It's just the consistency of it that kind of reminds me of face paint. Also the fact that when it dries, it's like pastel. You can rub it off. It rubs off on your fingers, just like, you know, my other face paint palette does. So, but I wanted to work with this palette of just skin tones because they're pre-mixed, and as you can see, I have not used it a lot. So I thought that I wanted to give it a try and see if I can work with it. So what I'm doing here is that I put my reference picture into a plastic sheet, so I can actually swatch on top of the plastic and then just wipe it off. And it's a water-soluble medium. She calls it marriage between watercolor and gouache, and I think the reason for that is that, like gouache, you need white to, I think, step out the value. Like it, I don't like working with this in like a glaze, but here I'm forced to use a lot of glazing. So actually, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to try out these paint for this project here, because I wanted to see, can I actually glaze with this product? And to save you a lot of time, the answer is yes and no. I learned doing this painting session today that, oh yeah, I can put down a glaze of a color, but the drying shift makes it not a fun tool to use, because it dries back to such a transparent, like non-existent glaze that you're back on square one. So what you see me doing is that I have to revisit places that I already colored in to add more pigment. So I think going forward that I don't think that I will use these paints for my portrait. You know, this is a work sketch just to get to know the face and all the traps, you know, like where to watch out and whatnot. I think I like gouache better because it's more predictable when with the drying shift. You kind of know when it's laid down, because it's so opaque that what you see is what you get when it dries up. And not here where I actually had to mix in the complete white paint into some of the areas just to make some sort of a barrier. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to explain. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's the first time for me to make a portrait, like a serious portrait, with these layer cakes, they're called, from Jane Davenport, and I think I had a fun sitting just testing it out with skin tones on this one here. So as soon as I identified the colors that I think is appearing on my reference picture, I isolated those pans from the rest of the palette so that I wouldn't by mistake dip into a non-existing skin tone. And I think I have to say it's super easy to work with a bunch of skin tones just pre-mixed, layered out in front of you. You know, pick and paint instead of having to mix all the time. When I play with skin tones using gouache, I need to constantly have a wide, big palette, because you know, you're using the palette as your, you know, the mixing tray as your full skin tone palette, where you need to identify the areas that you tinted with some warm reds or burnt sienna to warm it up, or a little bit of yellow, or, you know, you're tweaking your skin tone back and forth. But here it's like pick and go. So that was a little bit fun, actually. But I want also to say that my cat is lying on my desk next to me. She's purring. I don't know if the purr is getting picked up by the microphone, but it's not my stomach growling. It's the cutest little animal lying here next to me. Now you're like 5 minutes into this little upload here, and now I have to dump this by saying, don't look further if you're looking for entertainment. This is live art at its most boring state, where I actually sped this up twice. So I have had 1 hour sitting on my little sketch portrait here, and don't complete it in this upload here. And I'm not coming with a bunch of important sentences. I just wanted to show some, almost as close as it can be, live art of how long it takes me to flesh up a face and how indecisive I get during the process. It's sped up twice, and you will see me layer down some colors, regret going over it. Yeah. So this is not a tutorial on how to do it. I am an amateur, so I do a bunch of mistakes, and that's actually why I need to have working sketch before I do the real portrait on good paper, you know, with the watercolors that I want to use. So this is just a learning session for myself to identify what I want to do and don't want to do. And what I don't want to do is to bring in that effect of having something luminous on the cup. I realized that if you're like super good at doing portrait and flesh tones and whatnot, then yes, you can try and make areas look luminous, but I am really at the basic. So I think the chain of thought that I am having is that, why don't I just put as good as I can the skin tone down first, and then if I want something luminous, I can lift off the layers and replace them with like the yellow. So the luminosity could be like a layered process, like first the skin tone and then second the glow. So that's my chain of thought with this work process here. I also learned that don't sketch with aubergine. I originally had taken a cool teal to sketch up, which is my go-to colored crayon for a project like this. But if you saw the part 1 of this challenge here, I switched the crayon so my line work would appear better for the recorded, so that you guys could see my sketch lines. And now I know why I should never have picked an aubergine. First of all, these layer cakes are somewhat transparent, maybe hence why she calls it a marriage between watercolor. You know, Jane Davenport calls it a marriage between watercolor and gouache, because they dry up transparent somehow. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but I found it really difficult to cover up my aubergine sketch lines in the eyes, and there is nothing more unattractive than giving yourself pink eyes in your own self-portrait. So I was cursing that for quite a while, and I even was thinking about, should I go in with water and completely erase that aubergine color, but I just kept on trucking and then was hoping for the best. And it is actually supposed to be a layered product that I'm working with, so I was hoping that I could cover it up with layers, but I think I was too cautious because I don't like to go in with like a thick, creamy layer. I like the glazing style more. Or maybe it's just because I am a watercolorist, so I don't do gouache a lot. So it becomes more natural to me to dilute down the gouache and actually almost work with it like a watercolor, which is a mistake on my end. If you are used to working with gouache, you're probably sitting hammering your fist to the table like, no, how is it she's painting? Like I'm doing a bunch of mistakes. But hey, I'm on a learning journey, so it is what it is. And I am really trying my very best, so I'm not being sloppy, you know, with this painting right here. I'm really trying my very best. But what I wanted to say is that I, in the end, just surrendered to colored pencil. So I just went in the almost the end of this upload here, and then used colored pencil to cover up the aubergine sketch lines. And it made me so relieved, like, oh, you know, getting rid of those pink eyes really helped a lot. Yeah, the eye part is super scary. I'm looking at the uploaded now. I haven't seen the film strips that I have recorded during this session here, so I haven't really noticed how scary it looks with these unfinished eyes. So, yeah, it is true that in a portrait, if the eyes are somewhat likable, then it shines off on the rest of the portrait being likable. Like if you paint in horrible eyes or kind of mean looking eyes, it just shadows the overall input of the portrait. So, but yeah, back to this not being an entertainment video, because I am really fond of watching live art myself, and I am used to watching live art. So I know that if I'm watching a 3 to 4 hours live art, for instance oil paint sitting, people are not supposed to finish it in 4 hours. You know, it's a nice slow process, and I think that's the entertainment part for me. You know, that I got something to play with for 3 to 4 hours. And when I'm really interested and invested in a drawing, I don't like that it's finished in just 2 hours sitting, because I want to enjoy the process more, you know. Oh, sorry for the background noises. I just wanted to brush over my cat's coat because I've been you know, petting her, so I released some of the loose hairs. So yeah, already now I'm running out of juice of what to talk in this upload, and I got almost like halfway through, so hey. Poor you. Oh man. Okay, here I'm having the palette with my orange and my pink tone pans from Jane Davenport. I bought a lot of her palettes because I've been craving them ever since I saw her release it in 2017, I think it was. Because you know when you watch her live stream, she's always like, oh, it's a mix between watercolor and gouache. So already there I got my antennas out thinking that sounds interesting. And then also, you know, the pre-mixed palette, big chunks of pans, so you can go in with a huge brush, just makes me intrigued in this palette setup. I like the palettes that got a lot of product in it, so I don't feel necessarily that I need to be frugal and save some pans, you know, like the instance is with some of my schminke palettes in watercolor, where I bought these small half pans of color, and sometimes I don't want to be wasteful when I'm using that, but I don't get that feeling when I'm working with Jane Davenport's layer cakes, because just the weight of the palette alone just gives me an indication of, relax girl, you got a bunch of product here, so you can just go nuts. So thumbs up for that. And then also they came with their own color selections. So inspired by one of her recent videos, I disassembled all of my Jane Davenport layer cake palettes and did them in color rainbow order. And it's just so fun for me to have the color range now in, you know, in order. So yeah, I really enjoy that I can just pick one palette if I'm looking for yellow colors or skin tones. Like, look at that skin tone palette that I started this video with. Isn't it just yummy? I mean, just pick one palette and then, you know, all the skin tone pans are in one place. Okay, I'm working with the eyes, and like I said, I wanted to keep my portrait as honest as possible, so I'm not wearing any makeup. And I'm okay, reveal, I usually roll and powder up myself, even if I only have to go buy grocery. That's just how I am. So it's really weird for me to sit and paint eyes where I don't have any eyelashes. I'm not the kind of girl who put on fake eyelashes, but I use mascara, and it gives me that extra curl, so it looks like I got eyelashes. So here I'm looking at the reference picture, and I can't even see a hint of my lashes. So I am cheating a little bit in this portrait by giving myself some small hints of hair, at least, because I think, you know, that's how I feel I recognize myself. Like it's okay, how can I explain it? Like, is it important? I don't know. I think it is, that you can recognize yourself in your own portrait that you're painting. And when you're used to wear a bunch of makeup, not a bunch, but I'm used to wear makeup, so I find myself unable to recognize my eyes without the lashes. So yeah, that was just an observation. Yeah. One eye is wonky, and I am aware of that, even though that I continue this, because I think I will go in and try and correct it with colored pencils in the end. And like I said, I'm not gonna finish this portrait in this upload here. It's still a work in progress, so we're just like halfway through. Yeah, it's like a marathon, like a Tour de France. It's gonna be, like I said, in 3 or 4 uploads that my work in progress is happening here. And oh, I think I forgot to give a shout out to Slew and his channel and what the heck I'm doing here. Well, I've been following Slew for a couple of years, and I really like him as an artist. I love the way that he's creating murals by making his own stencils. And he has, I think it was like was it 2 or 3 years ago that he started to pick up oil painting, and he did a bunch of cool portraits. And one standing out to me is that he took, was it 5 faces? He took 5 reference pictures of himself, connecting them together, and then painting them. And I thought it was so cool. He also got his own studio, like a professional one, where people are coming and sit and I think have lessons, or maybe they just tip in a jar, and then he provides the studio with a model posing like for croquet. What is it called? You know, nude modeling. You know, modeling. Yeah, just modeling. Let's just say that they're not all naked. So, like, people come in, and it's like this community. He offers like you can go get coffee, and there is this professional layout where he can have several people sitting in like a theatrical way, where there is this stage, so it's like an elevated scene that you can sit on. And what I'm trying to say is that it's just very professional. It's not just like a rearranged living room. No, he built this this place meant to have people to sit down on steps so they can sit and do model drawing. Oh my god, I'm really so bad at describing this. And then, you know, I've just been following him a while, and I love that he's using spray cans. It's just a cool artist, and it's been such a long time that I've been following him that I started watching him when he was back in his old studio, where he kind of started up, I would say, becoming professional and earning from his art, and now he's in a different studio. So yeah. But over at his channel, he is having this, I think he calls it a contest of making self-portraits, and there are like big prizes to win. And because he respects that we all paint in different medias, he has selected, together with another artist who will be judging the winners, they have divided it into some groups. So he is respecting that we all are working with different mediums and on different substrates and stuff. So yeah, he's got this contest going on where you can submit your self-portrait. And the reason why I'm submitting, I don't think that I'm gonna win, because like I said, I am an amateur and I'm not you know, I'm not up there with the good ones. So I'm mostly doing this for fun, and I'm doing it because the carrot at the end of the stick is that this is like a mini job. There is a deadline, the 25th of August, and you have a place where you can post it. So for me, it's like I take it more serious, you know. It's a piece of artwork that's gonna not leave my house, but in a way be published on Instagram together with other people's admitted portraits. So that in mind, I think make me be more serious about it, because when I'm just painting for myself in a sketchbook, knowing that nobody is gonna see this, I first of all are not even holding myself responsible for finishing it. Point one. Point two is that I probably would, if I got annoyed at it, be more likely to not revisit it and work with the issues. But here I'm forced to work out the issues because I'm going to display it in this public hashtag on social media. Yeah, it's not that I'm lazy. It's just, guys, there's a difference, right? There's a difference whether you're painting it for fun in your sketchbook for nobody to watch, and coming out in public with it like, hey, this is me painting by myself, you know. There is a difference. And I like the serious aspect of sometimes creating a drawing that has a purpose and a deadline. So yeah, that's my motivation for participating. But I think you should go over and visit his channel on YouTube, Slew, S-L-E-W, Slew. He's a cool artist. Yeah, here what I'm doing with the colored pencil is very likable. I'm trying to fix the placement of the eyes, and they really needed to be corrected. The hair is still not finished, so I think on the, is it called the right side? Yeah, the right side of the face where the hair is covering the face, I need to make it cover more of the eye, so I know that the length of the eye is not as long as the left eye, but I got that in the back of my mind that it needs to be partially covered with hair. But I am having fun with this this challenge here. And Slew just came with an update today saying that you can actually submit more than just one. So if you are having your portrait documented in different progresses, you can also upload those progress images, which I think is super cool. So I think I'm gonna take my time with this work sketch here and then upload that as one, and then I'm gonna try and work seriously on the one that I originally was thinking was gonna be the one. And of course submit that one. But isn't it fun, you know, like you can submit your sketched and your finished piece. So yeah, just goes to show that he wants us to create, right? That's the whole idea. And I just love this as a challenge. So, but yeah, this is soon ending up, and I'm gonna return and paint more on this. And yeah, before I say goodbye here, I am going to show you the reference photo that I'm looking at, so we can see you know, how the eyes are looking. But I think I am so far into the portrait right now that I can start recognizing myself a little bit, which is a good thing. I freehand sketched myself. I did not use a grid or tracing paper or a light board or whatnot. So there is always this margin of error that my placement of my features are off. But as long as I can recognize myself, I don't care so much. I mean, I think, and it's because, let's say that or maybe I should, on the original that I'm going to submit, try and work with like a light board or something to see what is the difference when I work with a grid. I mean, because, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Here I'm using a pastel pencil, also gifted to me by Jane Davenport. Okay, not also, I bought with my own money the layer cakes, but she gifted me some free items when I placed my haul, and this pastel pencil is one of them. So instead of lifting off the layer cake, I am pasting on some soft pastels. But I think I could have gone in and just lifted off the highlight. So yeah. Okay, here comes the part where I'm saying goodbye, and thank you for watching. And yeah, I see you in part 3 of this. Here I'm looking at the eyes to see, can I see myself in this? I think the answer is it's close. I can see myself. Wish you a nice day. Bye bye.